Now, Nigeria's cement manufacturers met with the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment a few days ago, during which the state of the subsector was discussed within the wider state of the economy. Speaking to me on the macroeconomic realities of the cement sector. Right now from Abuja Studios is Kabir Rabiu. He is the Group Executive Director at BUA Group in Abuja. Thank you so much for coming in on our Rice Exchange tonight. We appreciate it. Let me start with, before we come to where we are, let's piggyback a little bit to last year. BUA Cement actually mentioned that there was a reduction price of for a 50 kg bag of cement, about 3,500 last year. Did it ever happen? Some folks said that the cement price bonanza was not delivered. Talk to me on that.
Thank you so much, Boston. First and foremost, thank you for having me on your show. And it actually did happen. Our chairman made the commitment, and we actually did it. So, and we ran it for 4 or 5 months. We reduced the price of cement across our plants to 3,500, and also, but that was actually ex-factory. But as you know, with industries such as cement in Nigeria, when you do this kind of, commitment, we were expecting the other players to also come along. Because if you look at the industry, we operate, really, our market share is about 30% or 32%. And for us to make this gesture and, the other players not doing it, it became very, very difficult for it to be fully implemented. So we ran the program for almost 5 months, like I said. And because other players did not, follow suit, the distributors and the middleman begin to take advantage, of our, gesture. So what happened was that even though we were selling the cement at 3,500 in order to support the economy and to support the users, there was no really direct benefit, at least to the end user, because, other players were selling up, previously higher, prices. And with that, it became increasingly difficult for us to actually continue. And whilst we were doing that, cost began to go up, and then we were forced to change the position a little bit. And whilst we are doing that, just to mention, we believe some of the plants actually had some issues, with reduced production. We don't know whether it was by choice or whether it was some sort of maintenance. And that put an enormous pressure, on our cement supplies, and therefore, even widened the gap between what we were selling in the factory and what the market was.
2023, when you announced that, was a very tough year for everyone, and we all understood the kind of policies, reforms that the government, very bold ones, that was thrown on the street for everyone. But again, here we are, early 2024. Tell me, what are the key factors behind the recent increase in cement prices on the street for Nigerians?
Yes, so actually there are a few factors, and the main factor was actually the input cost that have gone up. And so, for example, if you look at energy, the gas that we use to operate the cement plant actually went up a little bit, but it wasn't even the price that was the problem. It was more to the rate. Even though we pay in naira and the energy for at least the gas, what happened was that this gas was indexed to US dollars. And for example, last year we were paying gas at 418 naira, and then it jumped to 750 naira today. The last invoice was priced at 1,500 naira. And, of course, you had to, shift those costs somewhat into your production. So if you look at gypsum, for example, this is another thing that is being imported. Not only that you use foreign exchange to import, gypsum, but also your custom duties is indexed to dollars, and this also has been shifted to about 1,540, and also, bags and all other things that you use. So by the time you put all this together, you realize that your, production costs have significantly go up. And of course, as a business, you need to, to stay afloat, you need to be able to, you have to adjust your prices.
But isn't it for a fact that 90% of cement costs is due to the local mining of limestone? So what's the situation around that for me? In what comes actually on the market street for consumers?
So actually that is more of a myth, if you will, because if you look at the production cost, your mining cost is probably not more than 30%, and that is the only thing that is local, right? For example, your energy, which contributes to 40 to 50%, is indexed to dollars, as I previously explained. We all import our gypsum. Yes, in Sokoto we use local gypsum, but we do import our gypsums, which is also priced in US dollars. You clear it, using dollar as a benchmark, and then you transport it to your site. And, the bags in which we, put the cement also is in dollars because you import polypropylene. And, as the naira continues, to devalue, these prices will continue to go up. So, it's a perception that actually has been created that, 90% of cement is local. The reality is, even though, you could say that, but the reality is that everything is somewhat indexed to dollars. And the more the naira devalues, or the more the naira gets weaker, the higher you see some of these, input costs in our operation. And unfortunately, somebody has to bear the cost.
So interesting, if you look at the commitment, for example, from BUA Cement, when you talk about the slow pace of cement price increases in Nigeria, prices are moving faster against other building materials and food products in Nigeria. How do you put this vis-a-vis the reality of what cement prices should be or would be on the street from a business perspective, business case scenario?
The reality is, to be honest, as a country, we are not doing too badly. Today, cement prices are between 7,000 to 8,000 naira a bag. So if, for example, because I read in a few, publications recently that, some people were even suggesting that Nigeria could import cement. But if we were to import cement today at $100, without even paying any duties, dollar at 1,900, you'll be looking at almost 10,000 naira per bag without any additional cost. And if you were to transport it, let's say, to a market such as Abuja, you'll be adding additional, 2,000 naira. So landing cost, is even about 12,000 if you are not even going to put any margins if you are to import, cement today. So looking at prices, where we're selling our cement, both ex-factories and, delivered, you see that actually, to be honest, in comparison to, other markets, we're not doing badly. And one of the pressures that we see is that there's a lot of illegal smuggling of export of cement, to Cameroon and, Chad, Republic. So what happens is that because if you take cement just across the border to some of these markets, because there is selling about $150 to $170, and then you convert, to your naira at today's rate, you see that cement is selling at about 15,000 naira a bag. And that is why we realized that a lot of our cement actually is going to not only the northeast, but also to Maiduguri in particular, because there are a lot of, distributors and, makers taking this cement across the border because it offers a lot of, margin. But what we are doing as, a business, and this is commitment, by our chairman, Rabiu, is, committing to bring in additional capacity to the market. We are going to commission the next few weeks, 3 million tons capacity in Sokoto and 3 million tons capacity from our Ido cement plant. And what that will do is that it will dampen the pressure of supply and demand, because we know and we understand that some of the plants are actually not operating efficiently, at least, not to the volumes that they used to. And we believe that pressure is actually part of the reason why you're seeing this surge in prices. And with our commitment, or with the commitment of our chairman to bring these additional capacities, you'll be able to see some, relief. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Kabir Rabiu, the Group Executive Director at BUA Group in Abuja Studios. Thank you. We appreciate your time and those perspectives on the macroeconomic dynamics of cement production and price in Nigeria at the moment. And that's your show for tonight. I am Bo Sinema. I hope you enjoy it. Have a pleasant evening, and goodbye from Lagos.